So first thing to do is go to one of your courses. I'm just going to use 12 Mat as an example, and I'm going to add an assignment. And external tool, and drop down and make sure it's clicked on to turn it in, and give it a name and submit. Okay, and then from here click in and you can actually configure the assignment. Just click this button here to bring up some settings, and start date is today. In due date, make a week's time, and then this release date can be a bit tricky. I'll talk about that in a minute. Then, so basically, if you're just doing a straight assessment, that's actually enough settings. You can actually just click submit, and the students can turn in, and you can actually see how much they've copied from the internet. What I like to do is click this optional settings. Everything's pretty self-explanatory. All makes quite good sense. But see this add pair mark assignments. This is what I've been doing with my 13 stats. Just click yes here, and it will make up a second assignment. So once they've submitted the first assignment, they then get a second assignment that they actually have to write about or critique someone else's work. And that's what I've been having fun with 13 stats. So if you click down here now, notice that I just had assignment inbox and settings before, but now I've also got pair mark set up and pair mark reviews. Okay, so I didn't have that before if I had just clicked no to pair mark. So I'm actually going to go ahead now and set up the pair marking system. And this is pretty cool because I can go and write some questions that I want every student to answer when they're marking someone else's. And I've actually come up with a set of questions that I used for time series. And these are some questions that I've used already, so I'll just use those. So that now when a student receives somebody else's work, they have to answer those 3 questions. The distribution is quite cool. You can actually either force Patrick to mark Benice's, or you can actually just push, just have it random. You can actually make it anonymous, particularly, or the thing we came across is when you submit a Word document with their name on it, obviously that's not anonymous. So when they submit their Word document, it has to be nameless, and then this process is also anonymous. Yep, so it's really good. And the other thing that I'm just trying to find here. Oh, here. So that's Patrick. We'll make Patrick mark Benice's. Confirm. So that's a forced one. See here, you can actually tell the computer how many peer reviews you want each student to do. And then the student could select 1 or 2. They might want to mark one of their friends. And then this is an interesting one, require a self-review, yes or no. So for this assignment that I've just set up, a student would have to do this self, select someone else in the class to peer review, and also do 2 random allocations. So it's quite sophisticated in terms of setting it out to the class. The tricky bit that I found is this release date, because sometimes you don't know how long it's going to take. Is it going to be 1 class, 2 classes, or 3 classes? And if you get it wrong, you can't come back and edit the release date. And I found that the students were like, "Oh, I don't have any feedback yet." Oh, that's because the release date and time hasn't elapsed yet. So that was my first time around, my bit of a headache actually, that release date. And you can change it right up until the point until the first peer review is done. After the first peer review is done, that's locked off and you can't change it. So I've just logged in to Turnitin on the browser, and this is actually my 13 stats class. So I'll click into that class and you'll see all the assignments I've set them. But I've actually only set them 4 assignments. And this was a peer review one we did in class. That's the actual assessment. And then this is the peer review assessment. What's powerful about this is I could actually go in and do peer reviews of them as well. If you click under view, it says more actions and then write instructor review. And that's been quite helpful with some students come to me and said, "Oh, can you give me some feedback?" I've just gone and done it electronically like that. And when you click on show details, you can actually see that Angelica was paired with James and Cameron. So James and Cameron both did a review of Angelica, and I've also, in somewhere here, I think I've done one of hers as well. Instructor review, yeah. And this is how you can get back and see what you've written. So I can go back and see what I've written, or I can go see what Cameron's written and Alex has written. Sorry, Angelica's done 2, James and Cameron, and she's received 3. Does that make sense? So that's quite helpful to know. That's the only sort of thing I've used at this end. The other thing actually that I've used from a plagiarism point of view is for my time series internal, which is a level 3 4 credit internal. Here it is here. This is my percent copied from the internet. This was the worst, 19%. I can go and have a look at that in a minute. Submit file, and this is what you want to do. If you have given lots of teacher notes, you should actually go and collate that into a single Word document, or you could actually do it as a PowerPoint, and you just submit. So I'm just going to submit a student's work, but I'm a non-enrolled student. I don't click on any of my students' work, and I'll just put in teacher or something, last name, and then I'll choose from this computer and I submit that work. So then all the notes are on Turnitin, and also reference the notes that I've given them. And I think that's quite important to do if you're using Turnitin for a plagiarism point of view. Submit the notes that you've given students, or the exemplars.